to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Rob Reed. I'm a Senior Assistant Director in Undergraduate Admissions. My pronouns are he, him, his. And as I've said, I'm very excited to have you here today, very excited to talk with you about Ohio State and about all of the benefits of the university. In addition to myself, I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Josephine West and Ebony Smith. And they will be helping, they'll be helping today with Q&A and with chat. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to throw those into the Q&A. If we can answer them right then and there, we'll certainly throw that answer in. But if we think that those are questions that maybe more people might have or might be better to have me answer out loud later on in the presentation, then that's certainly something that we'll do as well to make sure that we have time to get all of your questions answered. If it's something that just might be more of a tech issue, then we'd encourage you to use use the chat function so that way we can try to help you with that. In terms of what we're going to be covering today over the course of the next 45 minutes, I have a lot of material that I want to talk with you about today. So in thinking about what we're going to be discussing, I'm going to be thinking about things like the quality of Ohio State's vast academic offerings, the importance of experiential learning, student support, and the ways that we're going to want to help you succeed as a student, the benefits of Columbus, and of course I'm going to talk with you about the applications process, the admissions process, pathways to Ohio State, and go over the basics of merit scholarships and financial aid. As I'm going through all of this information today, I just want to let you know that we'll post in chat here in a moment our Ohio State overview brochure. So that's going to contain many of the dates and numbers and maybe sort of those details that I'll be discussing today. So go ahead, feel free to look at that towards the end. If there's a time where I can call out the page number, I'll do that for you. But you don't have to necessarily worry about taking notes about every single date, deadline, or statistic that I talk about. So a lot of great things to cover today. As we're getting started though, next, I guess before going into the presentation itself, I do want to take a moment to read Ohio State's anti-racism statement. And for me, this is something that I truly feel is a core value for the university. It's a core value for the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and something that's very important to us. So with that, as members of the Ohio State University, we condemn anti-Black racism and racism in all its forms. And we are committed to engaging, interrupting, and dismantling institutionalized racist structures. Ohio State's mission to prepare students to be leaders and engaged citizens calls us to demand and support change. Learn more at go.osu.edu/addressing-racism. Thank you. And with that, I do want to start talking about the university and just start going through some of the different materials. And on the slide, as you can see, there's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of breadth and depth to the university. Ohio State is one of the largest and most comprehensive universities in the nation. And as important as all these numbers are, this is something that I really feel a lot of universities, a lot of schools, we like to show these numbers to you. So what I really want to focus on today as you're looking at this screen right now is what these numbers mean for you while you're a student at Ohio State and how we're able to also benefit you with these once you graduate. So really, while you're here and once you graduate, how can this all help you as a student at the university? And just to start talking about the OSU experience, really want to start talking about academics. And with academics, knowing that you're going to be surrounded by the best and brightest. And I mean this with your peers, I mean this with faculty, that you're going to be there with others who are engaged learners, who are going to push you, who are going to give you unique perspectives and viewpoints in ways that are just really going to help shape your college experience, your worldview, and help prepare you once you graduate. And when thinking about Ohio State, and Ohio State's a lot of things, but one of the things we are is a research school. And we do a lot of research here. We're recognized for our research. But we're not just recognized for our research. We're also recognized for our teaching. Our faculty, our professors, they're in the classrooms, they're teaching you, they want to teach you, they want you to learn. But not only are they doing that teaching, they're also doing their research. And they're doing cutting edge research. And this benefits you because those books that you're reading, those textbooks, a lot of those textbooks are going to have, you're not just going to be learning from professors who are doing research that's going to be in that next edition of the textbooks. And so really being on that cutting edge of learning and knowledge and just all these different ways that you're going to, and you're going to hear me say this a lot today, but all these different ways that are going to help you create a unique experience at Ohio State. And education inside the classroom, it's very much, we want it to be a collaborative experience. And so one example of that I want to call out at Ohio State is what we have, what we call our STEAM Factory. And this is a project that's exploring the world's problems through an interdisciplinary approach. And so STEM combines STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, with the arts. And so really reflecting on how there's synergies between these areas and how the hard sciences also benefit from the arts and sciences, and the ways that each area complements each other and can really lead to new discoveries. And some of the research that we're doing through the STEAM Factory is how electromagnetic fields can hinder the spread of breast cancer cells. Looking at how internet trolls contribute to online harassment. And understanding more about cats through the study of DNA of their archaeological materials, which I just always like. Honestly, I always like to imagine a student just going through an ancient litter box to find out more about cats. But how does some of this benefit you as a student beyond maybe going through an ancient litter box? Being able to have that cutting edge research that makes its way into the classroom, there's opportunities for professors to share their passion with you and for you to share your passions with your professors. And then these professors are the individuals who are going to become your mentors. And our students, they have access to their professors. So really a lot of benefits that go with this. And when thinking about that classroom experience, we also look at ways that we're going to be able to combine technology or integrate technology into the classroom experience. And so with this, I want to talk about our digital flagship program. This is a university-wide digital learning initiative, which for our incoming students, they receive an iPad Air. And the idea is around increasing understanding and use of technology for our students, ensuring that all of our students have access to technology. And for I think a great benefit of this beyond just what is a benefit for our students is a benefit for our professors. Our professors know that all of our students have the same baseline level of technology, that they're coming in and that students are going to have access to this in their classroom. And so they can design their lesson plans around that. Take, for example, Jeffrey Suchi. Professor Suchi, he's a professor in our College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. And he has an app that shows heat radiating off of bodies. And so he uses this to demonstrate heat conductivity. And so really around the areas that he researches and studies, but it really allows students to apply their theories to practice in hands-on ways. And these type of interactions are happening across campus. So when thinking about the academic experience, the classroom is very much an important part of this experience, but thinking about what resources you have inside and outside of the classroom to create your unique path so that you can take your education further, wider, and deeper than you expected. And one of the things, if we go back to thinking about the slide where I said, oh, we have all these numbers, and what does this mean for you? What those numbers mean for you as an undergraduate is that you can create a truly unique experience. And so I want to talk about some students who have had those unique experiences, and starting off with just a simple, I guess, rhetorical question. I suppose if you really want, you can throw your answer in chat, don't have to. But for how many students thinking about how maybe a Bachelor of Fine Arts can connect to a career in a medical field? And this isn't something that maybe a lot of students are able to make that connection right away. And former student at the university, Ben, he came in, he didn't know what he wanted to do. So he actually enrolled and came in our exploration program. And exploration is designed to help students explore, for students who are undecided, to see what options are out there. And for Ben, he spent a couple of years in our exploration program, and he discovered ceramic arts and a love for biology. And he combined these with our pre-dentistry track. So he had a Bachelor of Fine Arts, or he was pursuing a Bachelor of Fine Arts in ceramic arts. And then adding in biology to that, so that way he was on that pre-dentistry track. And when he graduated from Ohio State, he applied to dental school, he got in, and the admissions committee said that one of the pieces that really stood out was that background with ceramics. And he was pursuing cosmetic dentistry in his professional program. So for Ben, it was going from our exploration program to fine arts to dentistry to create a really unique experience. And one of the things that Ben credits with helping him was his academic advisor, or academic advisors, because those helping him with his Bachelor of Fine Arts, with that ceramic arts, with pre-dentistry, making sure that he was on the right track. And academic advisors are that resource that are there to help connect you to these resources, to help you make those connections between your interests and what you want to do when you leave Ohio State, whether that's going to graduate school or professional school or getting that first job. So what do you want to do? And what are your interests now? What majors do we have? And how can we make those connections? And helping you explore your passions, and whether you're taking a major or double major or adding on different minors, helping you create that experience. And not just guiding you through your major, but thinking about how are you going to find internships, research, study abroad. Our academic advisors are there to help guide you and prepare you for the future that you want. Another way that students are creating that unique academic experience at Ohio State is through our honors program. So the way I always like to talk about honors, particularly to high school students, is to think about it as honors, AP, IB, dual enrollment, or college credit plus if you're in Ohio. But just as if you're thinking about how those classes might be ways to enhance the academic experience in high school, honors is about enhancing the academic experience in college. It's focused on small group interactions and research, and just a great way for students to form that community around that academic experience. And with honors, and thinking about the opportunities that honors can offer students, I want to talk about Dan, who was in our biomedical sciences program. And Dan came to us, he had an interest in doing research and had actually done some research while he was in high school. He was interested in rare genetic diseases. He had a friend growing up who had a rare genetic disease. And so Dan came in and he was in our honors program, and he was actually able to start his freshman year doing research. And this eventually led to him doing research at Nationwide Children's Hospital on Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And it was something that allowed him to pursue passion. When thinking about and talking with Dan how the honors program helped connect him with this experience, related the program with helping support him doing research all 4 years at Ohio State, allowing him doing research to 25 plus hours a week. He was able to do some graduate coursework while still an undergraduate. During his year, he took a class in biomedical informatics, and in turn, that helped him get summer research opportunities at Harvard and MIT. Beyond just thinking about the academic experience that gave Dan, it also was where he met some of his best friends. Dan was, I believe, he was selected for the Goldwater Fellowship, a very prestigious award, selected as a Rhodes Scholar. And for Dan, really saying that nothing stopped him from pursuing his interests. And so for him, his Ohio State experience, very much allowing him to say, this is what I want to do. And then having those resources there to help guide him along the path that's going to let him connect to those resources. In addition to our honors program, one other program that I want to mention is our Eminence Fellows program. So this is, for me, if I just said honors as enhancing that academic experience, Eminence is if you want to even go beyond. It's a very small group cohort. It's very much focused on that academic experience and how students are able to pursue their academic. Our largest universities, students who are in the Eminence Fellows program receive a full cost of education scholarship, plus an opportunity for stipend for an experiential learning opportunity like doing research or studying abroad. So thinking about that experiential learning opportunities, and those are things like internships, research, study abroad, service learning, things that add on to what you're doing in the classroom. We want you to find your passion. We want you to connect to those experiences. And thinking about how you can be involved on campus, because this is going to help you create community, it's going to help you give back, it's going to help you get connected to Ohio State. So there's a lot of options at Ohio State. The one that I want to highlight today is called STEP. And STEP stands for our second.
Okay, it seems like Rob may have become frozen. You give me just a second. Let's see if he will return. If not, we'll see about switching over to either Josephine or myself for doing the presentation. Hold, please.
Informational Experience Program.
Rob, we lost you for a moment there. Looks like we've You're
All right.
You're starting to talk about STEP and then you froze. So if that's where you'll probably need to pick back up.
Where did I freeze?
Right when you were explaining the acronym STEP and what it stood for.
Okay. So STEP stands for Second Year Transformational Experience Program. So it's, oh, now I have to think about what I actually said. I'll tell you, it was brilliant. If you would have heard it, you all would have been ready to come to Ohio State right now. So I'm really sorry that you missed that. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to have to do my best to recreate it now. But Second Year Transformational Experience Program, and STEP is really about helping students engage with those resources at Ohio State, finding that path. So you've gone through your first year. How can we help you map out and plan what your junior and senior year are going to be looking like? How are we going to be able to connect you to those resources? And one of the great parts about STEP and why I like talking about it is because there is an opportunity for students to receive a grant for an experiential learning opportunity. So with this, use another student example and talk a little bit about Carrie. So Carrie, she's an electrical engineering major, and when she came as a freshman, she attended our student involvement fair, and this takes place the day after students move on to campus, and all these different things are happening out on our oval, and she discovered CAR, which stands for our Center for Automotive Research. We really love our acronyms around here. And so she said, this is something that interests me. And so she became involved with EcoCar, which is a national alternative fuel vehicle competition. So she's involved with EcoCar. She's in our Humanitarian Engineering Scholars Program. And then she uses these as a springboard into an internship at Fiat Chrysler in Detroit. So there, she was a recipient of the General Motors Women in Engineering Rookie Award, and now she's in graduate school. But with that, she was part of the STEP program, and when she was with that internship in Fiat Chrysler, she was able to receive a grant that helped offset some of those costs of doing an internship outside of Columbus and helping with some of those costs of living. So a lot of great opportunities with STEP, thinking about beyond just, or thinking of other ways that students are making those connections. I talked about moving in. Students live on campus for their first 2 years, so their freshman and sophomore year, and that really gives students, we're looking to give students that space to create their Buckeye community. Some students do this by participating in their hall council. Maybe they're working in their residence hall, or maybe they're part of a learning community or scholars community, and just using that as a way to connect with peers who have similar interests. Maybe your interest is in doing research. We have those opportunities. We have our Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Inquiry, and with that, they can help connect you with professors who have those interests that you have, who have those passions that you have. Being able to take on that faculty mentor to start pursuing research. And then once you do that, maybe you want to showcase what you've been doing. And we can help you with that as well. We have every year our Denman Undergraduate Research Forum, which allows students to present their research to the university community. So a lot of great options for our students with these different programs. Always like to take a drink of water before I say this next part, because I'm going to give you OSU's motto. And I'm going to apologize in advance. My Latin is a bit rusty, so I'm going to do my best. But Ohio State's, and I also apologize if you hear a jingle in the background. The cat's going a little bit crazy here. That is not Ohio State's motto. But Ohio State's motto is Disciplina in Civitatem, which means education for citizenship, or at least Rob's best attempt at saying education for citizenship in Latin. And we want our students to be leaders. And we want our students to be leaders wherever your passions take you. So whatever it is that you want to do, how can we as a university give you the skills that are going to allow you to be change makers? How are we going to give you the skills to let you be successful? It's up to us as a university to really see through our mission and see through for the motto to say, do you have the skill sets that are going to allow you to be successful? How can we connect you to that? And for students that have interests in leadership, there's a lot that we have across our campus. We have our Multicultural Center. We have our Youngkin Success Center, which is really a hub on campus for student success. Also, just throw out a quick plug that a lot of times we have students ask, can I get tutoring in X? Yes, at Youngkin's, that's that Student Success Center. Maybe in pursuing leadership, you want to pick up one of our minors in leadership studies, entrepreneurship and innovation, or arts entrepreneurship, just to name a few. But a lot of different ways that you're going to be able to create these unique pathways to be a change maker. And want to talk about, as I've done already before, talk about more students and what our students are doing at Ohio State. And so Christina, she's a human nutrition and international studies major, and she is the co-president and chief growth officer of Best Food Forward. It's a student organization created and run by Ohio State students that works to lessen food insecurity in the Ohio State community. So something that I think at the best of times is important, but something that in this past year in the COVID era is even more important is how can we make sure that our students, our community, I guess not just our students, but everyone in the Ohio State community has access to food. And for, going back to Christina, for her, letting her combine her academic interests along with her passion for food access and healthy eating. So that was my first example. Another example is Jason. And Jason, give me a moment here. This one, I actually do have to read his major. It's this isn't something simple like art. We are going with Jason. He is environment, economy, development, and sustainability. So a bit of a mouthful there, but Jason, his passion is for uplifting others and inclusion of marginalized communities and issues that historically ignore them. And with more of a specific focus on environmental justice and community development. And so Jason was able to take his Ohio State experiences and his passions to work with Smart Columbus. And Smart Columbus is an organization that looks to for environmentally and economically friendly transportation options that are going to connect the city. Also with Jason, he's a recipient of our Morrill Scholarship and is in our Morrill Scholarship Program through our Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And so that is a program for students who are looking at social change, social justice, access, inclusion, diversity, and being leaders. And so a great option for a lot of our students. Last student that I want to talk about is Jen. Jen was a biomedical engineering student, and she was a recipient of our President's Prize. And the President's Prize is the highest recognition that an undergraduate student can receive at Ohio State. Students are selected for the boldness of their ideas, capacity to champion change, and their commitment to the global community. With the President's Prize, students receive a $50,000 living stipend and up to $50,000 for their project. And for Jen, her project is what is called the Handycom. And it seeks to address technical and technological barriers for individuals with physical disabilities. So in receiving this prize, Jen is able to lead a team in developing a mobile application that's going to facilitate those connections between her ideas and reality and making that work. And with over 40 million Americans having limited dexterity, really something that Jen's idea can literally change lives. And I guess one other piece to mention in talking about these examples, I believe Jen was our President's Prize winner last year. Christina, who I just talked about, who is there with Best Food Forward, she was one of our students. She was just selected this past week for the President's Prize. So students that are very much able to come here, pursue their passions, and really make changes in the world. Let's get here. Okay, there we go. I'm waiting for that slide to change. So with all of this, I really wish you were here in Columbus. I really wish I could show you my city, the university city, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon. Truly hope that we do get to see you soon. But, you know, talking about Columbus, it's a diverse city. I know a lot of people, or a common piece that we get when we talk to students before they get here is that a lot of students don't know a lot about Columbus. It's the 14th largest city in the nation. It's the state capital. And so really gives students a lot of opportunities. And when thinking about how we want our community on campus, we want our community to be diverse and reflective of Columbus, of the country, of the world. We want students coming in who are going to have these diverse people, perspectives, experiences to really add to that educational experience. And with Columbus, we have a great food scene here in the city, we have collegiate sports teams, professional sports teams, a number of entertainment opportunities. But beyond that, and thinking about how it benefits you as a student in pursuing your passions, finding that career, finding that job after graduation, being the state capital and having a lot of businesses here, our students have access to thousands upon thousands of internships and job opportunities, both while they're in school and once they graduate. We have 20 Fortune 1000 companies here. We have a number of Fortune 500 companies that have their headquarters located here, such as Nationwide Insurance, AEP, Cardinal Health, recognizable brands that have headquarters or major back office operations here, like Scott's Lawn Care, DSW, Wendy's, Express, and a lot of startups and fast-growing disruptors like Cover My Meds, Eloquy. We've been ranked #1 by Forbes magazine for startups, or for as a rising city for startups, and also recognized by Forbes magazine as a great city for college graduates because they have access to internships, they have access to jobs, and we have a relatively low cost of living. So students are able to have these great opportunities, and they're still able to experience the city, or they're still they're not spending all their money on rent. So talked a lot about the university now, and I want to talk about how we can get you here and how can you find that path. And hopefully you can picture yourself graduating from Ohio State, and if you can, that's good. That's our goal too. And very quickly, it's something that I believe we're very successful at. It's one of the ways we measure our success with that is with our first-year retention rate. And that first-year retention rate is the number of students who start off as freshmen and return for their sophomore year. At Ohio State, we return about 94% of our students. That's well above the national average for public universities. And I always like to think of that retention rate telling me two things. One, students are being successful, so they're doing what they need academically to continue. But two, and just as important, is that they want to return. So not is it just I'm able to return, but I want to return. So let's talk about how we can get you here to Ohio State and coming back until you graduate, and then hopefully still coming back as an alum. So I'm going to start off by talking about that Columbus pathway. So the Columbus pathway, that's the most popular pathway for our students. So, or for our incoming students, this is coming into the Columbus campus as a freshman. So every year we receive about a little bit over 50,000 applications, and we're looking to enroll a freshman class of about 7,600 students. The process is competitive and holistic. We're looking at a number of academic and non-academic factors as we're building that class. Class that's capable, prepared, and is bringing in the widest range of experiences. So if you're looking for some specific numbers, like you can see there, about 53% of our students are in the top 10% of their high school class. That brochure that was linked earlier on page 11 is going to cover a lot of these numbers. But when thinking about the academic factors, looking at your transcripts, the classes that you're taking in high school, if you're taking honors or AP or IB or dual enrollment, if your high school offers them, looking at your class rank or GPA, looking at all of these different factors as we're making the decisions. And for the class of 2020, so students who are applying for autumn of 21, the ACT or SAT is optional. If you're a high school junior, I'm going to be very honest with you here. I do not know if ACT and SAT are going to continue to be optional. We've required them. We're certainly aware of the national conversation happening around this. We're certainly aware of the challenges that students still have in being able to take an ACT or SAT. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. But just really want to let you know right now that for juniors, some of this information I'm giving you, I honestly just don't have that final answer yet. But in addition to those academic factors, we're going to be looking at your activities, what you've done in school, outside of school, looking for leadership opportunities. With the deadlines, so early action deadline is November 15th. And sort of some of the pieces around those deadlines are on page 8 of that PDF that was linked earlier. In the past, our early action deadline has been November 1st. Because of COVID and just challenges and students taking tests, we moved it back to November 15th. Once again, for juniors, I don't know what date it's going to be in the future, so just make sure that you're aware of that and that you're looking to see what date it might be. Looking beyond the Columbus campus, we do have 5 regional campuses. Those are located in Lima, Marion, Mansfield, Newark, and Worcester. And with that, the regional campuses, they're Ohio State. There's a lot of reasons that students look at them. They're smaller in size. They're a little bit less expensive. But at the end of the day, they're Ohio State. And there are students who are taking Ohio State classes pursuing an Ohio State degree. I know I just have a bit of time left, but I do want to share a story of a student, Connor. Connor, he is one of our drum majors, and he started on the Newark campus. And he was able to start on the Newark campus. He was able to participate in band from our Newark campus and be part of the drum major training squad. And he was able to try out and become an assistant drum major and then be able to be the drum major for the Ohio State Marching Band. And he really credits Newark in that regional campus experience that allowed him to be a Buckeye and pursue his dream, which was being a drum major. Talking about another option is transferring in. With transferring, and I should say also for students who are doing a campus change, and I will say campus change, so going from a regional campus to Columbus campus, is different than transferring. But for both of those, that we ask students complete 30 semester hours after high school graduation. With the, I'll go back a screen, with the campus change, it's just changing that Zoom background. You're going from a regional campus background to the Columbus campus. campus background. The classes are Ohio State classes. They're taught by Ohio State professors. Nothing in terms of just, I'm just changing my Zoom background for that campus change. With transferring, there are guides out there to help students with how classes might transfer in, asking for students to have completed 30 semester hours. Every year we have about 3,000 students who transfer to the university. An average GPA is above a 3.0. So a pathway that's available to any student, not just Ohio residents. So looking at those different options. As I'm getting ready to close out here, as I said, I do want to give you the basics of cost and value in scholarships. And when talking about cost, what you're seeing here are the direct costs there at the top. So tuition, what you're paying to take classes. Fees, these are just some of the costs that go along with attending the university. Room and board, where you're sleeping and living, how you're eating on campus. Indirect costs, so books, supplies, pizza. There at the bottom is that sticker price, what students might be looking at if they didn't receive any other aid. And one thing when talking about cost, we recognize that college is an investment that can be a significant investment for students and their families. And we look at different ways that we can help students with this. We look at how and work hard at making sure that we're controlling the cost of in-state tuition. We've eliminated more than 278 different course fees to help bring those costs down. Expanding college completion grants for students who are almost graduating, and thinking about how we can use technology to deliver classroom materials such as textbooks. With textbooks, sometimes being able to reduce those costs by up to 80%. But beyond just thinking about those ways of maybe helping maintain or reduce costs, also thinking just a bit about financial aid. So the different types of aid, scholarships, grants, self-help. Students typically like they like scholarships and grants the best because those are costs that don't need to be paid back. With these, I would recommend going online to meritawards.osu.edu just to see what scholarships are available and what students need to do to pursue them. Some, like our merit scholarships, students just need to submit a completed application. Some of the donor scholarships, the endowed scholarships, there's a app or program we use called Scholarship Universe that students can fill out to get in that extra information for us. For that Scholarship Universe, and I'm also going to call out the FAFSA, which is how grants and some of that self-help aid's determined. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. That's going to be that needs to be in by February 1st. And for the FAFSA, that's something that parents or guardians fill out. It's based off of your tax information. So I've covered a lot of material today. And hopefully with all this, you can see yourself at the university. You can see yourself graduating, and you can start to understand how you can create that path, how you can create your Ohio State experience, and how we as a university are going to make sure that you have the resources to help guide you along that path. So I've covered a lot of information today, but do want to make sure that can answer any questions that you might have. So with that, just see if there are any questions I can answer.
Thank you, Rob. You did such a great job. As of right now, we had one question that maybe you could address to the group one more time with room and board and staying on campus, the requirements for that, and particularly if you live within, 10 miles of the school.
Okay. So for students who live in Franklin County, which is the county that Columbus, Ohio is located in, or one of the surrounding counties, then those students are able to commute if they want to. Otherwise, students are required to live on campus for their first 2 years. If students are interested in pursuing Greek life, and I believe about 10% of our students end up pursuing Greek life. If they choose to live in a Greek house, can also be done for their second year. But Otherwise, students are going to be living on campus, and about 90% of our freshmen do choose to live on campus. So even for those students who are in Franklin County or one of the surrounding areas, a lot of those students do choose to live on campus.
Great. Thank you, Rob. And can you talk a little bit about the majors that you do have to audition for?
Yes. So when thinking about majors that students need to audition for, there are two big majors that students audition for prior to enrolling at the university. That's our music program and our dance program. So for both of those, students submit their Ohio State application. So you still need to submit the Common App, and you need to submit, you'll submit an audition with music or dance. This year they are being done virtually because of COVID. In years past, there are on-campus dates for music. I believe that they're typically doing those in the spring. So December, not spring, in December, January, and February. And I'm not entirely sure about when dance hold their auditions, other than I believe it's in a similar time frame because students need to audition while their application is also being reviewed by undergraduate admissions.
Wonderful.
Anything else?
Yeah, you did a great job. That's all I see in questions for today. Again, you can type your question in the Q&A. But as of right now, I do not see any additional questions.
All right. So we will be sending out an eval immediately following this this webinar. So do ask that you fill out that webinar. Let me know what you thought of the presentation, what you thought of me. Would love to hear your feedback on our presentation. If you do think of additional questions, here on the screen now you're seeing askabuckeye@osu.edu. Able to email questions to that. We'll get those answered for you. For those financial aid questions, buckeyelink@osu.edu. Finally, I also do want to call out that, sorry, need another drink. Do want to call out that go.osu.edu/future-buckeye, and that's for campus visit opportunities. With COVID happening right now, we would love to have you on campus. Right now, it's not something that we're able to do. We're talking about when we'll be able to do that in the spring. Hopefully, maybe sometime in February or March, able to offer on-campus visit opportunities. When those opportunities become available, we're going to be offering them for high school seniors first. We know that you're the ones who have been most impacted by college visits this past fall. So offering those to high school seniors first, hopefully as we get past COVID, being able to offer more opportunities. And for juniors and other students that are looking to visit, our hope is that this summer, able to have opportunities for all students to visit campus. But otherwise, I want to thank everybody for me this afternoon. Hope to see you on campus soon, and go Buckeyes.